Birmingham City broke the League One transfer record, signing Wonderkid Jake Stansfield for over £10 million, which is absolutely mental in the third tier of England. So today, I'm carrying it on and going absolutely mental. We are signing Wonderkids only. We are spending a ridiculous amount of money until Birmingham win the Champions League. The team they've got in League One is quite simply unfair. Ethan Laird is a fantastic young right back with a few injury issues, but as a right back, unbelievable. Jake Stansfield is crazy good for this level. They've got some great wonder kids of their own as well, like George Hall in Cam, who looks very well rounded and looks like he could grow into a superstar. They've also got one of the most experienced lower league strikers in the world, Alfie May. Now, I don't know if he's going to be very good in FM. He doesn't look like he's going to be crazy, but hopefully this guy can lead us to glory. And overall, just a crazy strong team. And I've got something to say that two of these players are going to be in the squad at the very end of the rebuild. Get it down below in the comments. Which two are they going to be? If you get one right, I'll give your comment a little pin, or a like and a love heart, and a love heart as well. Lots of love hearts going on. Make sure you are commenting down below who you think is going to be in this squad out of the starting 11. One is going to be in this first team, I believe, and one is going to be on the bench. Crazy scenes. The fact we've gone from all the way to League One to Champions League winners with some of these players. Now, of course, this first season, I'll be absolutely livid if we don't win League One. We should be. They're sitting 4th, I think, in real life. 3 wins and a draw from the first 4 games. I'd like to think we can pretty much go unbeaten on Football Manager. Well, would you believe it? We've won a trophy that's not League One. It's not the FA Cup or Carabao Cup either. It is the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, or the Papa John's Trophy, as we all know and love it to be. We won this game 3-0 against Stockport, who are currently sitting 2nd in League One in real life. A pretty easy victory. And of course, Super J Stansfield getting on the score sheet to lift our first trophy. And the second came quite quickly as well. We did win League One on over 100 points, 101 to be exact. 46 games played, 30 wins, 11 draws and 5 losses. A positive 60 goal difference. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm surprised. This team is an absolute joke. To be fair to Reading and Bolton, they've done quite well. Both on 96 points. The 3 best team in the league got promoted. Jay Stansfield bagged 22 goals in just the league alone. Lee Buchanan and Ethan Laird, we are utilising our wing backs very much. They both got a 7.23 average ratings. Ethan Laird is an absolute baller. This guy really could be at the very top of football. As a United fan, I watched him come through the academy. Only issue he's got is his injury issues. He is quick, he is good defensively, he can cross the ball, and it shows here on FM. 13 assists. He is a leading championship player, and we've just won League One. So Ethan Laird, absolute crazy scenes. And Lee Buchanan, who's a tiny bit older, only 24 years of age actually, is also consistent. A good championship left back, got 14 assists and also the same average rating. So our 2 wing backs, both absolutely fantastic. Iwata and Clara as centre back, both absolutely solid, with Christian Bielik in CDM. I mean, this guy, I remember when Arsenal brought him and it was a mental thing. Ends up in the Championship, now at Birmingham, a very good centre defence midfielder, a great season for him as well. When it comes to Jay Stansfield, he's just absolutely ridiculous. 28 goals and 6 assists. But there is a slight issue which sadly happened. Jay Stansfield plays up front, which means Alfie May didn't get a single game. He played 11 off the bench. I wish that wasn't the case, but Alfie May is not going to be carrying on this journey with us. We've got very good wingers of our own already, to be honest. Scott Wright is a Scottish right winger, absolute superstar, 8 goals and 10 assists and a 6.96. And Keshi Anderson, who seems like he's been around for absolute ever, is 30 years of age now, to be fair to him. 6 goals, 6 assists, also a very good season. And our young man in the cam role, George Hall, 18 goals, 9 assists, progressing very, very nicely. Just 20 years of age, already a £16 million guide value, is absolutely crazy. And there is also a Wonderkid as well, which was not in the first team, but did get a few minutes this season and absolutely dominated in the Under-21's football, is Romel Donovan. 36 goals and 16 assists in 52 games. That is a goal contribution every single game on a 7.87. Obviously, just for Under-21s. He is a leading League One cam. He's going to be in the first team, and hopefully we can develop him. I think we could. His technicals are very bad, though. So we'll see if we can grow them. But if you guys are doing a Birmingham save, this guy is fantastic. He is wanted by 14 clubs. We might cash in on him. I don't think we will, though. But George Hall is certainly the starting cam. and is miles better. We have got a decent transfer kitty and a lot of wage budget to sign. We are only signing under 23s. We are only doing that because otherwise this rebuild will be way too easy. So under 23s only, and of course we're going to spend loads of money because, I mean, Tom Brady's in charge somewhere, and I'm sure he's a stakeholder, and he's got loads of money. So we spent £10 million overall, not just on one player, on 4 this time. Number 1 is young right back from Watford, Ryan Edwards. This guy looks like a great backup to even led if he does get injured. We've got someone that is quick, is young, can cross the ball, exactly what we want. Signing 2 is from Hull. It's Xavier Simmons. This guy comes through the Chelsea Academy and is absolutely fantastic. Great teamwork, great physical stats as well, and a centre defensive midfielder who's 6 foot tall and loves big matches. Our third signing is a backup striker because Alfie May is leaving the club. It's Ivan Azon from Zaragoza. Great physical stats, good finishing and composure as their little link up with 15 determination while being consistent and liking big matches. And our final signing is Liam Morrison from QPR. He went to Bayern Munich when he was very, very young, ended up going to QPR this season in real life, and we've poached him for just £700,000. A good Sky Bet Championship defender. Our defence is absolutely crazy, so we didn't need anyone really that good because Dion Sanderson, Liam Morrison, Bielik, Clara, I mean, it is mental the quality we have got. We're going with Peacock Farrell in goal, Ethan Laird, Bielik, Clara, Buchanan, Paik Siang Ho, Xavier Simmons, Jay Stansfield, George Hall, Hansen, and Azon up front. Trying to get Stansfield out wide. Is it going to happen? I don't know. With them signings, we are predicted to come in 12th place in the league as a newly promoted side. Is pretty crazy. We are 20-1. We are facing up against Bournemouth, Forest, and Ipswich, who have been relegated from the Premier League. Can we make a charge for the playoffs? We did have some massive results this season, beating Norwich 5-2 away from home and 4-1 at home as well. It's safe to say the Canaries were our absolute whipping boys. Well, in fact, it was just East Anglia as a whole because we went away to Ipswich and also battered them 3-1. But sadly, both of them were the ones laughing as Ipswich come second to get promoted and Norwich go promoted via the playoffs on 88 points, while we come 8th on 72. I don't quite understand how that happens. We bag 9 goals past Norwich in 2 games, but they only lose 10 all season with a 28 goal difference. And Ipswich, we batter 3-1 away from home, and they come second. I don't understand it. The wonderful algorithm of Football Manager. Forest win the league on 101, but overall, a very impressive season for us. 72 points, more wins than losses, is exactly what we're looking for in our first season. We were predicted in 12th, went down to 16th as we got through the season, but overall, a pretty successful second season, the rebuild. And to be honest, Jay Stansfield's ruined everything. He's too good. He is literally stopping our new signing Ivan Azon from getting on the pitch. 19 goals and 3 assists. Emil Hansen as well, who we've not touched on yet. 14 goals, 11 assists. Scott Wright, 10 goals, 9 assists. William Paul Williamson, 8 goals and 3 assists from 15 starts from DM is also crazy. And our centre-backs also went off. George Hall struggled a little bit getting into the championship this season. 6 goals and 5 assists in 43 games. But I'm sure he'll get there. And Romel Donovan, he hardly played, but was available for the under-21s and was fairly decent when he did play as well. So it's good to see him in the first team and growing around George Hall as well. A fairly successful-ish second season. This season's going to be difficult, though. We've spent too much money. We've got a minus 100,000 wage budget and we need to sell. So we sold Christopher Clara for £22 million to Bristol City. Lyndon Dykes finally left the club and went and joined Oviedo. He's hardly been around, to be honest. We got £1 million for him, and as someone that also likes QPR, I couldn't wait to see the back of him. We sold Scott Wright to Derby for £8.5 million as a 28-year-old winger. I think that's a great sale. Tomoki Iwata, also at 29 years of age, leaves the club to join Vissel Kobe for £7 million. And our final decent sale is Mark Leonard, who has left the club to go to Portsmouth for £1.8 million. We have now got a whole bunch of money to really improve this squad. So first up is Say Childs, coming in from Southampton for £10 million. He has a value of 33 million. He's been on loan at Sheffield Wednesday and West Brom in the past 2 seasons, and he is an absolute wonderkid. This guy is superb, great on the ball, good at winning the ball back, can also fit into centre back, is consistent, and is just 22 years of age with 31 caps for the Northern Irish nation. Marcel Ratnick is signing number 2. He comes in from Napoli after a great loan spell at Reading for just 5.5 million. Yusuf Chamiti is up next, 4.5 million from Everton at just 22 years of age is fantastic. We went and signed another Scottish winger, but this time younger, faster and better. It's Liam Smith, signed from Swansea for £8.5 million. And our final piece of business was to bring Cade Gordon in on loan from Liverpool. Just needed a bit more rotation in the wings. And that leaves our team looking stronger and stronger. Peacock, Farrell, Ethan Laird, Bielik, Ratnick and Buchanan, with Paik Sang-hyo, Shea Charles, Hansen, George Hall, Liam Smith and Stansfield leading the way. We are looking to become championship victors. We are predicted to come 16th. We know that is not where we're going to finish, because we're going to finish 9th again. And I'm going to be very disappointed. I feel like we progressed massively this season and the team just didn't quite do what we wanted it to do. 70 points, 2 seasons in the championship. But what I will say is a much younger and a growing squad. I think part of our issue is the fact that we're trying to make Jay Stansfield a winger. In the match engine, he's just played up front, and we then sort of lose a bit of quality on the wing because we're not admitting that Jay Stansfield is our striker. I didn't really want that to be the case. I wanted him to come in as our right winger, but the match engine keeps putting him there, and when it does that, it means we're losing a bit of quality elsewhere. So it is what it is. The second season of the Championship, 9th again, shocking in the FA Cup, shocking in the Carabao Cup. The good thing is we did fix a lot of financial issues in that last season, to the point where we have now got quite a nice transfer kitty in the Championship of £8.5 million, and it looks like there's not a lot of debt on the club either. If we do check out debt and loans, literally just £2.5 million in transfer debt. We're going to run that up at some point because we're going to go mental when it comes to signings in this rebuild. If you do want to get yourself your hands on this Birmingham save or any rebuilds we've done in the past, join up to the Patreon. The link is just down below. I'm also running a 3 giveaway copy of Football Manager, 3 copies of Football Manager 2025, that is, that I'm giving away to you guys that are over on Patreon. It is Patreon exclusive. If you sign up now, you'll be in it for October's draw. I'm also giving away another 3 or 4 copies in November as well. So if you want to get yourself a chance at a free copy of FM25, or maybe a £5 a month copy of FM25 for the first month anyway, and you can cancel it if you want to, that is all linked down below. Patreon is the place to be for all your free files from Kempi. Let's get involved to the next season, season 4. We need to do a lot better. And well, we really have made Norwich a rival. They have poached our star right back Ethan Laird, and when they come in for him, he did not decline. £61,000 a week, we can't quite offer that. We did get £15 million, which is great, but we need to replace him. So welcome in free agent signing Calvin Ramsey, signed from Liverpool. A carbon copy of Ethan Laird, 23 years of age, great going forward, great determination, great crossing, a little bit injury prone. We couldn't have got a more similar player if we tried. We did make another free agent signing as well of Yassi Nayari coming in from Brighton. His contract ran out. I think he's an unbelievable player in real life. For some reason, Football Manager, he's not quite got that ability. We're going to try and harness that in this rebuild. But don't worry, because we didn't only sign free agents, we also spent a hell of a lot of money. Number 1, Michael Olagikpe comes in from Brentford. This guy looks fantastic. Great speed, great crossing, great dribbling, consistent as well. £9 million. He's been out on loan in the Championship where he did bits for Sheffield United 2 years ago. I'm hoping this season he can bring back that form. We also loaned in Mario Kozia-Dubry from Brighton to be a rotational winger. And then we signed Barjan Gruda. I don't know how, but £1.7 million is all it took to sign him away from Brighton. He joined them from Mainz for, I think, about £20 million in the summer window in real life. He's pretty decent on FM as well. I've seen him grow to being an absolute superstar. And the theory is just not yet, but for £1.7 million, I'm certainly willing to take the risk. And we've given him a German mate as well, because Jonas Erbig comes in from 1FC Cologne, one of the best Wonderkid goalkeepers on the game. We need to bring in a goalkeeper this season, because after this season and possibly next, all the Wonderkids are going to be regens, so I needed to bring in a superstar, and Jonas Erbig really is one of the best young goalkeepers on the game. And our final signing is Renato Vega coming in from Chelsea for just £3.5 million. He never played a game for the Blues, so he's coming to the better Blues, Birmingham, where he's going to be a superstar. The team looks quite different this season. Jonas Erbig, Ramsey, Bielik, Ratnick and Buchanan, with Vega, Charles, Olagikpe, George Hall, Liam Smith and Jay Stansfield. Backups wise, Romelu Donovan is still here. He's not growing quite as well I hoped, and as mentioned, his technicals really aren't very good, and they're not growing very much as well compared to George Hall, who is getting a lot of game time and is progressing into a fantastic central attacking midfielder. The rest of the team, though, is brilliant. The backups are decent. We have got a lot of players in the squad now that are good enough to be on the edge of Premier League quality. Still predicted 14th. Let's just not finish 9th. We sort of have to get promoted this year. It's quite a strong championship with Fulham, Brentford, Southampton, Wolves, Burnley, Sheffield United, all still here in the championship. But let's break into that top 6. Well, first up, we're going to Wembley and not in the playoffs. This is the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester City. And that was about as glorious as it got for us because Renato Vega scored in 12 minutes to make it 1-0. But that just angered probably the best team in the world as Haaland scored and then Foden scored to make it 2-1. And they just ran away with this game. But what an unbelievable story that in the Championship, we got all the way to the semis of the FA Cup. Simply unbelievable. I'm absolutely buzzing, and it bodes well that surely we had a fantastic championship season. Well, we did just about get promoted. 82 points, level with Fulham, 1 point better than Brentford, 2 points better than Southampton, and only 4 points away dropping out of the playoffs. Doesn't matter, it's enough. And we're promoted in 2nd place, up with Wolves and Southampton. A pretty fantastic season this year, and a lot of players stood out. Jay Stansfield again seems to get 19 goals every season. George Hall took a massive step up. That first season in the Championship, he got 5 goals. This season, 18. He's progressed very nicely. And well, it was also a lone player which massively improved us, and Mario Kozia-Dubry. They say don't fall in love with lone players. It's difficult when they get 29 goal contributions in 47 games. This guy is lights out good, and we're going to try and bring him back for the Premier League season. He is just still 23 years of age. Renato Vega was fantastic, 10 goals, 2 assists. Barjan Gruda for £1.7 million, 18 goal contributions, brilliant. Michael Aglipe, 14 goal contributions. Shea Charles is great in DM as well. Christian Bielik's good. Chimiti's a good backup. Liam Smith still here as well. 8 assists for Calvin Ramsey. Decent, not quite Ethan Laird numbers, but I'm sure he'll get there. And Lou Buchanan also being solid on the left-hand side of things as well. Time to move on, though, to our Premier League campaign. £35 million in transfer budget, lots of wage budget. Finances are in the mud. That Premier League money is going to help that because we need it too. So let's go mental. First off, clearing out some deadwood. Emil Hansen, £5 million off to Getafe. Paik Seung-hyo going to Levante for £4 million. And finally, William Paul Williamson going for £1 million to Granada. And we then made just 3 signings for our Premier League campaign. Number 1 is young backup centre-back Oakley Honor coming in from Sunderland for £5 million. And well, there was another player from Sunderland that looked absolutely unbelievable and we broke the bank for. Kieran Ewing? He looks unbelievable. 18 determination, great aggression, great physicals, great work rate, great technique, £27 million value, £14.5 million is the total cost so far. He looks ridiculously good to the point where he could go to the very top of the game. And finally, we needed that superstar striker and moving Jay Stansfield out wide, and Nelson Viper is going to be the man to do that. He is one of the best Wonderkid strikers you can get on Football Manager, and he's here for 15 million quid. Great determination, great physicals, great finishing, great consistency, loves big matches. Nelson Viper is going to be the man to lead this team to glory. We are sticking in our 4-2-3-1, and that's because we've got 2 great central defensive midfielders in Renato Vega and Ewig. We've got Erbig, Ramsey, Bielik, Ratnick and Buchanan at the back with Onagbekpe, George Hall, Liam Smith and Nelson Viper. Actually dropped Stanfield to the bench. Yeah, might not happen. He might go onto the right wing and Onagbekpe comes to the left wing. We'll see what happens in the match engine. But our team now is looking pretty strong and full of Wonderkids. Well, we were predicted to come bottom of the league at 900 to 1 odds to win the Prem. But we caused upsets left, right and centre, kicking things off with a 2-0 victory over Manchester United. We took points off of a very strong Spurs side away from home, and even nearly grabbed all 3 points against Manchester City, where they were saved from a 91st minute winner from Jeremy Doku. But the good news is we're back to absolutely battering Norwich 4-2, a hat-trick from Nelson Viper, and all of them victories collated to a pretty decent first season in the Premier League. 11th place, just 1 place outside of getting a European spot somehow, with 46 points, 12 wins, 16 losses and 10 draws, and Nelson Viper being 3rd on the Premier League top goal scorers chart. Maybe one day he'll catch Haaland, even though he's just bagged 45 goals, and throughout this season campaign so far, he's been ridiculous, but that season in particular is an absolute joke. An 8.1... What on earth? That is robotic. And it seems like Rico Lewis is also having a pretty dangerous season, winning on the average ratings behind Haaland on a 7.37. And it's safe to say we are doing very well ourselves. We have now got a team which is competing in the Premier League at a mid-table level. We just now need to take it to the next level. We need to give Nelson Viper a bit of help. 3 goals from Liam Smith, not enough. We did have, obviously, the man, Jay Stansfield, but 2 goals in the Premier League and 5 assists is not enough. As predicted, he played a lot of right wing, just not quite good enough. George Hall, 5 and 6. I don't mind using him because he's Birmingham through the academy. I just hope it gets better. Michael Wonderkid, 9 goals, contributions is great. Kieran Ewig, unbelievable. 6.77 as a 20 role in the Premier League is unreal. He is now wanted by Chelsea and Manchester United. Hopefully we can keep hold of him. It's going to be difficult. Renato Vega, great in the Prem. Lee Buchanan also staying here. Calvin Ramsey as well with 10 goal contributions from right back is crazy good for us. Financially wise, yeah, we spent a lot of money last summer. So this season is going to be difficult to spend quite as much money. The finances are taking a bit of a beating. The Premier League money didn't help us quite as much as I hoped it did. We have put a little bit of debt on the club. Hopefully we can get out of that, because we need to get to the point where we're challenging the likes of Haaland at Manchester City. And while selling our star players isn't going to help that. Kieran Ewig leaves the club after just 1 season for £23 million to Chelsea. He officially has the Wonderkid tag to him. I knew he was good. I didn't realise he was going to be this good. But sadly, he's off to Chelsea, but we'll take the 23 million. In return, they did give us Esteval on loan from Palmeiras. He's not quite developed as much as I hoped he would, and I really want to see him do really well. He is currently only a 2-star player, but with his stats there, he's going to get a lot of game time. We then signed Elias Baum for £6 million as a backup fullback from Elfsborg, before signing a potential superstar centre-back in Graham Gebby. From Aberdeen, he's got 5 caps for Scotland at 19 years of age. He's got extreme consistency. He's 6'3". He's great in the air. He's got great physicals, great mentally as well, and hopefully can grow into a stud. We also signed Ishe Samuel Smith from Chelsea on a free agent contract as a backup left back. And our final signing is Gabriel Moscardo from PSG to really shore up that central defensive midfield spot. He's not had too much game time since going to PSG. He's got a cap for Brazil. He's 23 years of age. There's a long way to go in this guy's career, and hopefully it can be here at Birmingham. The team is now littered with Wonderkids from back to front. Urbig, Ramsey, Gebby, Ratnick, Buchanan, Shea Charles and Renato Vega, Esteval, George Hall, Olagikbe and Nelson Viper. We really are at a point where we should be staying in the mid-table Premier League range. But actually we broke in to the top half of the Premier League table, and Nelson Viper came second in the top goal scorers list. But you'll notice next to our name, a cheeky little Europa League spot is coming to Birmingham. And that's because we have won the FA Cup while playing against Manchester United. George Hall getting an assist after wicking it in to Michael Olagikbe at the back post. United replied pretty much instantly with Alejandro Garnacho making it 1-1, but we were the team on top in this game. In the second half, we just had enough about us. Shea Charles found Calvin Ramsey for a great finish into the back of the net for 2-1, and a third was coming as well, as Renato Vega's high press slipped it across to Shea Charles, the DM partnership linking up. A 3-1 victory, and Birmingham are FA Cup winners yet again. I say yet again, that's actually the first time they've ever won the FA Cup. So massive dub, Birmingham. First ever FA Cup has come from your boy Kempi. And that wraps up a very successful season number 6. The team is looking good. We are stronger than ever, and our Wonderkids are really progressing. Financially, we are recovered massively. £75 million transfer budget, a whole bunch in the wage budget, and 60 million quid in the bank, with next season being our first in European football. And when there was only one man I wanted to bring back this season, Kieran Ewig is back. He played 4 games for Chelsea after they spent £23 million on him. We've brought him back home, right? We've got lots of money. I've loaned him in, and if we do somehow have a good season, we can buy him for double what we sold him for Chelsea for just 2 seasons ago. It sounds ridiculous, but he's a fantastic young DM. We've seen he's got the Wonderkid tag. His potential really is off the charts, and I want him at the club, and I want him to lead us to Champions League glory. And well, because that was just a loan deal, it left us lots of money to spend out elsewhere. So £46 million, we bring in one of the most exciting young players in real life, Mickey Moore from Spurs. To be his rotational option on the wing is David Woods from Northern Ireland, 20 years of age, signed from Swansea. This guy looks outrageous. Great physical stats, great mentals with 16 finishing. Are we seeing the next George Best? This guy's also got the Wonderkid tag. And finally, it's Alan Arbando, signed from Brighton for just £6.5 million. His career has not gone as it normally does on FM. He is not as good as I expect him to be. £6.5 million is an absolute bargain though, and hopefully he can progress. Well, the team is still looking very strong, and we still have them 2 players in the starting 11 from the start of the video. George Hall in Cam is going nowhere. He is absolutely fantastic. He has progressed into such a well-rounded Cam and really is a superstar. Well, Lee Buchanan has surprised me a whole bunch. Absolutely incredible. Stayed here from day one and is consistently a superstar left back. We've now got Woods, Olagikbe, Viper, who is still crazy good, with Buchanan, Ratnick, Gebbie, Ramsey and Erbig in goal. Hopefully, this team is going to be good enough to compete in the Europa League. Maybe not win it, but compete in it, and maybe somehow we can get back in a European competition for the next season. Well, it seems like we're one of the best teams in the Europa League because we've just absolutely smashed it. 7 wins, 1 loss from 8 games, and we're flying straight into the round of 16. We faced up against SK Rapid and won 5-3 on aggregate, and it's also cool to see Jay Stansfield still knocking about, grabbing 2 late winners. In the quarterfinals, we were facing up against Liverpool, and it was going to be a very difficult task to get past them. But we do have a very special central defensive midfielder in Kieran Ewig, who gets off to a fantastic start in just 5 minutes. The only issue is Liverpool have Victor Osimhen, and he's also quite good. He scores in just 9 minutes. 10 minutes later, we are back on the charge. It drops to Kieran again. He finds David Woods, and maybe he is the second coming of George Best. What a finish. 2-1. We are in the lead. But that is not all for this game. In fact, this tie is one of the most mental ties in European history. Viper puts us 3-1 up before Liverpool bounce back. Still in the first half, by the way, with another goal from Victor Osimhen to make it 3-2. We are going to make it 4-2. Ewig and Ishe Samuel-Smith finds Olagikbe. Ewig again on the ball. How's a brace for our DM? This guy is so good. It's 4-2. But guess who else is quite good? Victor Osimhen for 4-3 in the first leg. Away from home though, we won in the 5th. I can't believe I'm saying that. More on the right wing. 5-3. What on earth has just happened? One of the most ridiculous European ties I've ever seen. And well, the second leg is going to be just as ridiculous, I promise you now. I don't know what happens when we face up against Liverpool. Mad things happen. Darwin Núñez scores to make it them just 1 goal behind. They're going to score again, so we are drawing 5-5, I believe, on aggregate as things stand. But we're going to have an absolute regeneration and score 3 goals with no reply. Number 1 from Nelson Viper. Number 2, a very similar goal, but this time from Gebbie in the box. The Scottish centre-back has been simply fantastic. And the third after George Hall finds a ball into the box for Calvin Ramsey, who finds Olagikbe. That is 3 in a row. But guess what? It's not over. Liverpool come back at us. Eric Garcia, Arda Güler, McAllister, Darwin Núñez. Yeah, another goal. It's currently 8-6 on aggregate, and Osimhen scores to make it 8-7 on aggregate. And that is where it finishes. We win 8-7 on aggregate against Liverpool, and somehow we're going to the semi-finals, where things were much more relaxed. We faced up against PSV. We won the third leg 3-0 with goals from Moscardo, Viper and David Woods. And the away leg we drew 1-1. So we go into the final and we're facing the team that come top of the league phase. So it's first and second going head to head. And well, I tell you what, we have built a special side. We do get a bit lucky. It's just 4 minutes in. It classes an own goal as Chan Boskedans hits off his head after a ridiculous shot from Shea Charles. but we also just went on to dominate them. A ridiculous ball there from Ewig to find Vapor for 2-0. For Buchanan whips it into the backstick for Kempi to make it 3. And Birmingham lift the European trophy. It's the Europa League. We didn't have quite as good of a season this season in the Premier League, coming 11th. We obviously qualified for the Champions League for winning the Europa League. And to be honest, playing an extra 16 to 18 games, I think it's fair to say that's a pretty decent season, given the fact we're only signing Wonderkids. The rotation isn't there. We haven't got the experience. And we've still managed to come mid-table 3 seasons in a row now in the Premier League. And next year is the Champions League. So more money to spend, more improvements we made to this team. And I genuinely think we probably could make no more signings and would get there anyway, because David Woods is unbelievable. He is such a good pickup for just £8 million. Unbelievable pace, unbelievable finishing, great leadership. 21 years of age is amazing. I mean, Nelson Viper just scored 40 goals. If you've never used him before and you're new to FM with it being free on Epic Games, well, it was free on Epic Games last week, surely you've used him by now. If you haven't, use him. He's fantastic. Jay Stansfield still smashing it. 12 goals, 2 assists. Kieran Ewig, 10 goals, 10 assists. 22 years of age. I couldn't care less. He's joining the club. I would mud the club. I would give Chelsea the rights to own Birmingham to the fact that we could have Kieran Ewig. And if you haven't seen the video, we actually built 2 Chelsea teams at once. That is one of the last videos released on the channel where I built Chelsea A and B. So they quite literally brought 2 clubs. It's Todd Bowley's dream. Go and watch it. It's fantastic. After this though, because you need to see how this video ends. We've got a bit of money to spend, but Kieran Ewig has to come in. We're getting to the point though where challenging for a Champions League is coming up thick and fast. And well, there you go. £43 million. Kieran is back as a Birmingham midfielder, and it feels good. He's not just on loan anymore. I feel like we've been a little bit mugged off. We paid £15.7 million for that loan spell, which is absolutely crazy. Overall, we spent, what is that, 58 million plus the 20 plus the 15. We spent about 80 million quid on this geezer, but he's absolutely fantastic, and I'm a massive fan. Kieran Ewig, you saw some of the goals he scores, you see how good he is defensively. Unreal. And but I thought he was good enough to be Jesus himself, but it isn't, so we've signed Jesus himself. Coming in from Sporting Gijon, of course, it's Jesus. A great attacking left back. It's going to be a great rotation option with Lee Buchanan. Great physicals, good crossing, also great defensively, which is quite rare to find a wing back just this good. And well, because we're getting to the point where we are absolutely sending everything to win the Champions League, I've got a little bit mental of installments inside Faruk Tomic. He's a Montenegrin centre-back coming in from Napoli. We spent about 70 million, it was 55 million pounds on him. It could go up to 60. I gave him like 10 million pounds up front. The rest of them, the never money. Look, he's brilliant, and we needed a great centre-back. And finally, it's another cam to come in and rotate with George Hall. It's Nikolaj Steinlin from Denmark. This guy's unbelievable. Great physicals, great dribbling, great technique, great vision, great flair. Unbelievable scenes. If you want to know how I scout these players, I released a video on the weekend where I show you guys all my scouting methods, whether it's free agents, we've signed a lot of them in this video, whether it's Wonderkids, again, we've signed all of them pretty much in this video, and if it's Moneyball signings as well, I show you all 3 scout methods that I used in my videos on the weekend. So if you want to see how we find players like this unbelievable player Nikolaj Steinlin or David Woods or Jesus, it is all in the video linked on the channel about scouting. The team is now looking brilliant, still very young, not a lot of experience in there, but I tell you what, it's absolutely beautiful. And we're here in Season 8. We are going to lift the 2nd FA Cup in Birmingham's history. And of course, we stopped Spurs from lifting a trophy. They tried by going 1-0 up, but the high press system of Birmingham worked an absolute dream. David Woods pouncing on a defensive mistake, and then went to extra time where we scored 2 goals and absolutely bullied them. Kieran Ewig with an assist into Nelson Viper for 2-1. And a third coming in the 121st minute. Jay Stansfield from an Ratnick to Ewig to Michael Olagikbe, 3-1, a 2nd FA Cup in today's video, and making Birmingham winners again. And but I've really wanted us to win the Premier League as well this season, but we were quite a little bit short, 15 points away from Chelsea, even though Nelson Viper is creeping ever closer to Erling Haaland. Man City, not Chelsea is what I mean. It's just impossible. City's team is an absolute joke, and they've got 87 points. We can't really get near them. When it comes to their tactic, they've got, was that Inzaghi in charge? A 5-back with Haaland and Kleber up front, who, by the way, might be the best striker I've ever seen. I wish we had him, actually. He looks great. I really like him. But, I mean, yeah, it's just impossible to beat them. They're an absolute joke. They're going to win everything. In the Champions League, though, we gave ourselves a very good showing. We come 10th in the league phase, but we are going to go into the knockout playoff round. But again, pretty decent showing. We faced up against RB Salzburg and absolutely smashed them. In the first leg, it was a convincing 3-1 victory away from home, and at home it was just as good. Nelson Viper got us off to a great start, making it 1-0 before new signing Steinlin finds Viper in the middle to make it 2-0, and with just 5 minutes to go we were 6-1 winners overall as Steinlin drives into the middle, fires an absolutely outrageous effort into the top corner and sends Birmingham to the round of 16. When we played Chelsea and lost 1-0 in leg 1 and 1-0 in the second leg as well, meaning our Champions League run ends here. We are in the Champions League for season number 9 and I'm in full send it mode. We've got quite a bit of money. Let's just break every transfer record possible. We're not going to go that crazy, actually, but we are going to bring in some unbelievable players. Christian Spazov joins from PSG for just £40 million. Angel Ruano comes in as a great young right back from Sevilla. Maximilian Kerr comes in as a great backup DM. Bobby O'Kane joins the backup goalkeeper from Spurs. And Isaac Blasco joins the backup striker from Athletic Bilbao. This season was really about just improving our rotation options because our first team is an absolute joke. Jonas Urbig in goal, Calvin Ramsey, Gebi, Tomic, Jesus, Ewig, Gabriel Moscardo, David Woods, Steinlin, Spazov, and Nelson Viper. We've still got on a Geek Bay. George Hall is still here. Sadly, I think I was actually wrong and Buchanan has left the club. I thought he stayed to the very end. He left for £16 million to go and join Ipswich last season. So no surprise, it is George Hall that ends up being the man that's rotating in and out of the first team at the end of this rebuild. But unbelievable, because he is absolutely fantastic and he's played 332 games and he's been unreal. And the best way for him to finish off this season is to lift lots of trophies. And we're going to kick things off in the FA Cup final and we're going to see if we can get George Hall on the score sheet. We go 1-0 up and we go 2-0 up. Steining starts in cam and scores a fantastic finish there. And Birmingham actually then get a red card, but somehow that helped them as they then score to make the game 2-1 from a great finish from João Guilherme, but we are going to make it 3. Ewig, who just seems to just drive forward in that Volante rolls, just sets everything up, and David Woods scores a screamer into the top corner to make it 3-3. Before Everton and their 10 men grab 2 goals. Kempi finds Buckmere to find Sedibe to make it 3-2, and they score again to make it 3-3. Braithwaite nearly scores a screamer. It falls to Oscar Gluck. He beats everyone and puts it into the top corner and sends the game to extra time. I don't know how we've let this slip, but we're not going to do a Gerrard. We are eventually going to lift it anyway. We are going to score thanks to an own goal there from Buckmere, and we are going to grab another to make it 5-3 as Tomic finds Gabriel Moscardo to find that man George Hall to score another FA Cup final. We were very close to making it a domestic double as well, but Manchester United beat us 1-0 in the Carabao Cup. So we turn our attention to the Champions League, and it's a very similar season to last season. 10th place, 1 place behind Bayern Munich. It's exactly what happened last year. And the knockout playoff round, we're also going to attempt to get through, this time against AC Milan. Calvin Ramsey whips it in, and Spazov is there to make it 1-0 in the 33rd minute before we got a red card. But similar to Everton, it just lit a fire under us and we scored more goals. Gabriel Moscardo there makes it 2-1 before Bermudez cuts the ball back into the box for Simeone to make it, well, now 2-1. Before a third coming in as George Hall sets it back to Ruano, to George Hall, to Shea Charles, who is still here, to Ruano for a 3-1 victory over AC Milan. And in the second leg, it was a boring 0-0 draw. So we zoom on into the round of 16. Well, we faced that very same Everton side we beat in the FA Cup, and we beat them convincingly over 2 legs, with leg 1 being a 3-0 victory and leg 2 being 2-1 thanks to a Nelson Viper brace. In the quarterfinals, we were facing up against Inter Milan, and in the first leg we drew 1-0. Before the second leg, when Nelson Viper absolutely blew them away with 4 goals of his own in a Champions League quarter-final. He scored 16 goals this season just in the Champions League. He really is one of the best Wonderkids you could buy on FM, and he's got a good friend in him as well in George Hall, who is going to score one of the last kicks of this game to grab a 5th in this one. 4 from Viper, 5-0. We're going to the semi-finals. We are facing Xabi Alonso's Bayern Munich, and they've got quite good over the years, as Gabri Veiga makes it 1-0 in 63 minutes, and we are away from home. So if we can somehow grab a point or a draw here, it'll be fantastic. And Wonderkid makes it possible with 1-1, but Bayer Leverkusen score again, making it 2-1 and leaving this tie with us all to do at St Andrews. And we do get off to a fantastic start, and there's no one else I'd rather it be as well. A ridiculous reverse shot from Kieran Earwig goes in against Kovar before Gabriel Moscardo scores from the spot to make it 2-0, but Bayer Leverkusen score again. Another game finishing 2-1, sending us to the dreaded penalties, which we win 10-9. Absolutely mental. Keepers took penalties. It was crazy. We ended up winning 10-9, and we're going to a Champions League final. And well, the run has been quite nice up until this point. I'm going to say this point. Here's now the final, and we're facing up against Mbappe's Real Madrid, and he scores in just 2 minutes. But we have got some superstars of our own. Kieran Earwig finds a great ball over to Ishe Samuel Smith to find Nelson Viper in the middle to grab his first of the game. Yes, I mean first, because there's going to be more. He's through on goal again. He scores to make it 2-1. But Real Madrid peg us back. Bellingham, still here, finds Wataiwu to Rafa Marine to Valk with a fantastic finish from 30 yards out, sending the game to extra time. We're in the 121st minute. Nelson Viper heads home and Birmingham lift the Champions League trophy. That was the goal of the rebuild. Birmingham are Champions League winners. Unbelievable scenes. You can see here we held our own against one of the best teams in the world. Nelson Viper starting up front. Mickey Moore, David Woods, Steinland and Cam. Ewig and Moscardo and DM. Samuel Smith, Tomic, Gebi, Ruano and Erbig in goal. An unbelievable run in the Champions League. It was an unbelievable season in all cup competitions. In the league, we just fell off. We come 7th, still qualifying for the Champions League, but giving you guys a challenge on Patreon to go and win the Champions League with this Birmingham side. Unbelievable scenes with Viper scoring 37 and 8, Nicola Steinin scoring 13 and getting 8 assists, with Michael Legikbe getting 12 and 6, and that man from the start, George Hall, playing 62 games this season with 17 goal contributions. Hats off to George Hall, an absolute legend. Thanks so much for watching the video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next time.